I want to ask about the fact that you have been covering Black Lives Matter as a movement since 2012. Can you speak to, how you feel the movement has grown and where you are currently at in regards to optimism or pessimism?
Yeah, I mean, when I was covering even in 2012, I was aware that, Black Lives Matter, it started, during enslavement, right? I mean, Black Lives Matter is an age-old movement that just changes names. It's been the civil rights movement. It's been run by SNCC. It's been run by the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. It's been John Lewis's movement. It's been Dr. King's movement. And, in 2012, it really launched just as the term Black Lives Matter. 3 Black queer women launched this hashtag. And it was around Trayvon Martin, this kid who's walking down the street, minding his own business. He gets killed by somebody who had an aspiration of being a police officer. So it had this sort of the flavor of police violence against Black bodies. And so it launched around this idea of saying, you need to think of these young lives as being important, and why we don't do that in America is a big problem. And so Black Lives Matter launched. And the thing that was so different about then and now is that at the time you had a president who was incredibly empathetic to it. He said, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon, or I could have been Trayvon. You had that empathy in the White House, that desire to embrace the movement, bring them into the White House, talk to them. Eric Holder was trying to figure out how could we work with Black Lives Matter to make the country better, but the public was against them. The polling was terrible for Black Lives Matter. White America really rejected this movement, even when it was Eric Garner and Michael Brown and all of these people. Freddie Gray, I covered the Freddie Gray movement in the streets. You're talking about a guy who was thrown limp into the back of a police car, and there was still very little empathy. Even Tamir Rice, who was a baby, 12 years old, nothing seemed to move the public at large, other than Black folk and brown folk, to be for it. Now you have the flip side of that. It's completely upside down. You have a president who's completely unsympathetic and hostile to Black Lives Matter, hostile to the idea of people kneeling, saying that we want fairness and justice from police. But the public is now on the Black Lives Matter movement side. And that is a huge change, and it's an important change. You've now got white folks out there marching and getting tear gas, moms in Portland getting tear gas for Black Lives Matter. Before it was Heather Heyer putting her life on the line and losing her life for Black Lives Matter. Now it's a bunch of moms. And I think it's an important difference because it means it's broader. This is not a niche movement. It's not just a Black people concern. This is the public realizing if they're coming for Black lives, they're eventually coming for yours. They're eventually coming for your security and peace. All of us have to be in this together. I think that is actually an important change. And we're seeing legislation. We're actually seeing it become legislation. So that's important.
It's obviously also important to have voices like yours talking about this. You're the only Black woman anchoring a news show right now, and we're really lucky to have you doing that. I want to leave by asking, are are these hours to your AM Joy hours when you hosted a morning show on MSNBC?
Well, yes and no. Okay, so on the no part, a week, 2 hours is like, think about how much you pay for a 30-second television commercial, right? 2 hours is like gold, right? You have 2 whole hours. So it's harder to shrink myself and all of the questions I have. I like 100 questions for Joe Biden. I could only ask like 40 of them, right? Like you have to shrink it down. And also I love having Mondays off. People do not understand Monday being Saturday and Tuesday being Sunday is everything. You can get all your stuff done. Nobody's in the stores. It's like perfect. So I'm going to miss having Mondays and Tuesdays as my weekend. But I love these hours in the sense that it's immediate. Like I'm not analyzing the week from the back of the back end. We're literally now frontline every day. You're in the mix. For a news junkie, there's nothing better than being on the air every night in prime time. It's a fabulous opportunity.
Well, congratulations again. And hopefully when this all clears up, we'll see each other in the building. All the best, Joy.
I will wave through the German tourists at you.
All right, sounds good.